Can everyone hear me? Okay, good. Many splendored fishes. The ocean is a poem where we all feel everything, like the fishes who feel electricity on their faces, like electricity is a big burger getting all over. The ocean forgets us to remember others long gone, the ichthyosaur and the helicopercon, and our ancestors it remembers. It thinks of the fishes who are surrounded by desire. Salt water caresses those fishes as they shape it, as they consider, as they decide. The ocean pulls us apart, it pushes, knows us and does not care to know, doesn't want to see, doesn't need to inspect. Because what is the ocean but touch? Not touch but thought, not thought but love, not love but infinite communication. Or it transmits something particular to the ancients and something urgent to our politicians. Newborn. Someone says 1 year of grief and you will be good again. But what is a year if not a physical thing, a made thing, requiring the work of the planets, requiring the work of anatomy, requiring the rage of birth? I'm thinking of the porpoise who carried her newborn's body, full of milk made from our plastics, how she carried it in her mouth, through the bell-like blue, for days as it decayed. In protest, she carried it. So the next few poems they're sections from a longer poem that I wrote after going to see the doctor. I asked him why I had a lot of phlegm in my lungs, like why I sort of always had this phlegm. And he said it was because of the prevailing wind. So, so the wind in the LA Basin basically blows smog, so car exhaust, truck exhaust, from LA to Riverside, where it like piles up against the mountains, and it just kind of cooks in the heat in the summer. This is particularly bad in the summer. So my doctor told me if I want to feel well, I should work hard in school, and so I could make enough money to move to the coast. So that was the solution. That's basically, yeah. So cars. The cars are playing poker. They are slapping the cards down on the table and making crude gestures. They are hurricaning, as men do. I enter the room with drinks and snacks. The cars don't really care what I have to say. This is not the kind of party where we all get to be equal. This is not the kind of party where we get to think about the future and be hopeful. Upon signing a support letter for SB 44, which would phase out most diesel trucks. I will end you, fucking diesel trucks. I will end you. I will find the biggest, boldest state, and from within it, as a lioness, I will hunt you through the legislature. Upon reading AB 1411, the Integrated Action Plan for Sustainable Freight, this bill was recently pulled by the author, but it was a great bill that would sort of switch diesel trucks from diesel to electric. Ever since I read AB 1411, I've had a feeling in my mouth. Like I could snatch a big rig from the freeway and hold it there squirming. It's a weird feeling, like money doesn't govern, like I'll never be tired, and I'm done with my grief. Okay, so my final poem is another excerpt from a longer piece, and I wrote it after the last presidential election. It takes place in two different places. So one is along a river near my hometown in Humboldt County, and then it's then the other place is in the midst of a protest that I organized after the election. So kind of at night in a downtown area. So most of this is actually said by the river, but you'll hear bits from the other place. After the election. There's so much hope in our longing for this one river. We have so much thirst for it all over our bodies because there were rivers like this one running over our skin when we touched each other, rivers like this one running down our throats with booze, like this one up our throats with song, but the song never seemed to say what we wanted it to. Or no, it was never loud enough. or no, it was not subtle enough. We know this because it was not heard by the head of state. It was not heard like the river is by the spiritual conifers or the thickening sky. And we spend all day struggling just so we can feel the river flying from rapid to pool, around boulders to where it spits us up at the tail out. Sometimes we sit on a hot boulder the size of a camper just to charge up our longing. Sometimes we are alone in our longing and surrounded by twinkling opacity. And sometimes we stay wet until the bats come out and golden threads move across the surface. And we swim together, surrounded by sound, stripped of speech, gesturing wildly just to stay afloat, looking at each other's enfeebled bodies. We spread into each other, mute and alone, amazed by the elegance and newness of our limbs. We are buoyant on some language, but still we are trying to kiss underwater, but choking, but failing, trying to touch each other in the fast current, trying to get each other's attention by screaming into our closed mouths, then trying again by slamming our hands down on some car hood. Thank you.